So I feel like I need to address this before I can continue on with this channel, and I've been wanting to say something for a very long time, but I wanted to wait until I was in a better place mentally, and I feel like with a lot of work and a lot of time, I am really starting to get there. If you're watching this, you are probably someone who either knows me in real life or you've been watching me for years, and I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with me through all of the crazy things that I've had happen in my life. Over the last 2 years, things have been way more difficult for me than they ever have in the nearly 30 years that I have been alive. At this time last year, I was really in the mindset that I wanted to make this work so bad, and I was willing to do kind of whatever it took to get to the place that I wanted to be with YouTube. I was just very unhappy with everything else, and all I could see is this. This is all I wanted, and I was trying to put all my building blocks in place to kind of just go all in come summertime. I really feel like I had gotten to a point where I was very comfortable with where I was, and I was very happy with all the progress that I had made with recovering from my depression and my grief of losing my brother unexpectedly in 2020. And as soon as I was ready to unbuckle myself out of this crazy roller coaster and get off the ride, it was just like another huge wave came. That plan did not go the way that I expected it. I never even got to that point because at the beginning of summer, my biggest fear happened and my life was completely flipped upside down yet again. And it has changed me in a lot of ways. That's kind of what I want to address in this video to help hopefully make things make more sense going forward. I haven't really said too much about it out of respect for everyone involved and for my own privacy, but it is hard because no one that I know, for one, has lost a sibling and that I'm close to, and no one else that I know is going through this situation. I got right back in the roller coaster and I was ready for yet another crazy, awful long ride. And it was so defeating because I had worked so hard to dig myself out of that hole just to literally finally get to the top and get ready to get out of it, and then I just get shoved right back in. I've lived a very, very, very good life, and I'm so grateful for that. So I never really understood depression. I never really understood people not loving life because I always loved life and I could always see all the beautiful things about life, and I never understood how people could not see those things. So the best way I can describe it is I feel like I was just walking through this beautiful field of flowers, and all of a sudden I just fall down this huge hole, and I fall at the bottom of this hole so hard, and I'm looking back up at the top of the hole and I can barely see a little glimpse of light. All those beautiful things I could see when I was outside the hole, I can no longer see. When people try to make life sound so happy and joyous to you, when you are at the bottom of that hole, you can't see any of that. I have always wanted to live, and I've never understood people who didn't want to be alive until that moment. That was the first time I ever truly didn't want to exist. And for me, that was terrifying because I have never felt anything close to that. And to have my mind immediately go to that place was very scary. And I knew that I needed to do something to get myself to not feel that way. So I ended up basically shutting off everything with YouTube and social media for the majority of 6 months. And I really had to focus on myself to not allow myself to go down a really dark path and to get myself out of that hole and to make myself want to live. And that took a lot of work and it took a lot of time. The first 2 months of summer were a nightmare for me because I just can't imagine that this situation could be really happening in my life, and I would do anything to make it not my reality, but I'm aware of the fact that I can't change that, and I have to accept what is, just like I had to accept my brother not being here. When we went on our vacation in August, that truly helped me to just get away for a minute and really start to see the beauty in life again. I needed that so bad. I definitely lost my love for everything that I used to really thoroughly enjoy. I loved riding my Peloton, and I have zero interest to ride my Peloton. I love doing YouTube, and I got to the point where not only did I not have time to do it, I didn't even want to. I didn't even want to walk the girls. Like, do you know how terrible of a person that makes me feel to admit that, like, I love my dogs, my children, more than life itself, and I could not get myself to walk them. I physically could not get myself to do it. That's how just bad it was. Everything that I enjoyed, I just lost the desire to do. I saw a psychiatrist for the first time in my life. They highly recommended that I get on depression medication and I be medicated for anxiety because I'm very anxious. I've been anxious my whole life, and being depressed makes my anxiety so significantly worse. But I didn't want to do that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I wanted to try to figure it out myself. So I just worked on it in therapy, and I am doing a lot of personal work on myself. I have been spending more time not being online and not being on social media and being more present in my own personal life. Being present is something that I worked really hard on, and it's helping me to see the blessings that I have in my life, and it has made me have so much gratitude for the things that I have in life instead of just focusing on the negative, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. As far as things not working out, I am so thankful that that didn't work out and that I am still being a dental hygienist. That's my primary income, because I'm thankful that I have that outlet. I know as much as I love being alone for me for long periods of time right now is not a good situation. So I'm so thankful that I have an outlet, that I have to physically go somewhere, be surrounded by people all day, because it distracts my mind from everything else that's going on. Versus if I was doing content full time and that was my main income, I would have the stress of pretending that everything is okay all the time because I can't physically talk about it. And if I don't do it, then I don't have any money coming in. It just makes so much sense as to why things weren't happening when I wanted them to. It's because God knew that this was going to happen and that this was going to be the better situation. I have been struggling a lot. From someone who never really struggled with anything ever in her life and was always just good, I've been so not okay for a very long time, and having to pretend that I'm okay when I'm absolutely not has been absolutely exhausting. And even though it's been hard because I do enjoy this so much, and I've lost a lot of money from taking a really big break, which stinks, but moving forward, I'm going to continue to spend a lot more time in my personal life and a lot less time on my online life. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to upload anymore, but I'm probably going to focus more on shorts because it takes significantly less time for me to create versus my long form videos like this. I know that everything's kind of going that direction anyways, and my shorts consistently always get way more views than my long form videos. I did start getting this like rush of like desire to want to do things, and slowly I wanted to start doing things again. And I just remember the first time I wanted to ride my Peloton, and I did my first Peloton ride in months, and I just started bawling because I was like, oh my gosh, like holy crap, I'm doing it. I wanted to do this and I forgot like how much I loved it and how much joy it brought to me. I was so overwhelmed by happiness because I felt like I had a little piece of me again, and I missed that me so much. And now I've been doing really good with it. I turned 30 this year. I kind of look at like going into my 20s and how my life was in my 20s and how I thought that the 20s were going to go, and how they ended up being not at all what I expected as life goes. But I really want to just like lay a really good foundation for myself going into my 30s, going into the next decade. So this year I ended up making a 30 by 30 list. So not like a bucket list of like jumping out of an airplane, which I would love to do, but more so just little things I want to do that I've always wanted to do but I've pushed off, and little habits that I want to get back into. So I have a list of things that I need to get done by my 30th birthday, and I think more than anything this list just means so much to me because I want to prove to myself that I can do anything that I set my mind to, and that I really am the only person that I need to have and I have to be able to rely on. So like if I can't rely on myself, I can't rely on anyone. You know what I mean? Like you need you more than anything, and I know I need me so bad. So while things will definitely be changing, I really want to know what you want to see more of, because I'm learning more and more and more that time is absolutely the most valuable thing that you have, and giving time to myself and to my loved ones is priority over anything before I spend time doing anything else. Hopefully this makes things maybe make a little bit more sense as to how I've been very different and very distant. You know, we've been given this beautiful gift of life, and I want to really enjoy it as much as I possibly can. I can't really say what the situation is, and I can't really talk about it in respect of the situation. And if there's anything at all that you take away from this video, it is to enjoy your own personal life way more than you enjoy watching other people live theirs. I will see you in the next video. It will be, I'm sure, a lot more happy, but this is just my real life, and that's what it is. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for sticking with me.